kind of on that topic with the whole clout chasing creator podcast, whatever, is I keep watching all these clips on Snapchat of like these podcasts I don't really listen to. Just like random shit on the Snapchat Spotlight, which is the worst content on the internet. Snapchat Spotlight is the worst, just video, like the worst people on there. Like the girls who just post themselves all day, and that's their job. It's just, but there's always these podcast clips about like two guys or something have a podcast, and they have a girl guest on, and they always ask her about like, you know, what's one thing that girls that guys like wanna ask girls but never do, and then they ask her those like taboo questions, whatever. But I feel like if you actually have Riz and like have female friends and stuff, or even just have girls that you talk to, you don't need, like, you know all the answers to those things. Like stuff about periods and stuff. Like, is it really that? Do guys really not understand it?
That's been my question. Do guys actually, are they like, it's kind of a weird way to ask. Like, I don't know how to ask the question. I don't know if it's okay to ask it. Like, I feel like they're just like a little bit nervous, but then
Because like it's
just
so
normalized.
okay to ask that. It's not like offensive to ask that question.
Yeah, people are like, oh, don't ask a woman her weight. Don't ask a guy how much he makes.
Man, I wouldn't ask a woman how much she weighs.
No, I wouldn't.
Don't do that.
That is not how you get bitches.
Yeah, do not ask a girl how much she weighs.
But it would be kind of like normal for, like, if one of our other friends came up to us and like asked me a question about a period, I'd be like, oh, he's trying to care for his girlfriend,
it's like,
or something.
that's
Like,
nice.
I wouldn't be grossed out and be like, I don't want to talk about this with you. Like,
Yeah,
I
like
wouldn't.
if a girl what's like a guy problem that girls don't know? There's not many. Like, does it hurt when your balls jiggle when you run? Like some bullshit. Like they always are so confused about how we exercise with a dick. Like, does it just like flop around? Like, it doesn't really move that much.
Not really. I mean, if you're wearing underwear, it just kind of stays.
Yeah, it really doesn't.
your skin.
It's never been a problem. Except for one time when I was like 13, I wasn't wearing underwear under my shorts, and I was riding my bike, and I went to sit down, and I just sat directly on one of my testicles, and it was, that shit hurts.
Probably a question I know I used to have when I was younger was like, how do you clean it? But I feel like now it's just obvious.
Clean what?
Your dick.
Put soap on it?
Yeah, like now it's just obvious.
What? How's that a question? Like, it's so...
Well, I
put soap
mean,
on
like,
it.
oh yeah, but like, especially if you're like uncircumcised, like you gotta pull it back, and that was always like,
Yeah, well, I'm circumcised, so I wouldn't know. But,
cool.
Yeah. But I mean, it doesn't seem that hard, even if you are uncircumcised. Just pull it back and do the work.
Yeah, I remember I might have been like 13 or something. Like, I wasn't that young, but I didn't really think about it though. So it was just like, wait, how do they clean it? Oh. And then it was just like, it wasn't really on my mind often. Is that thing clean?
It's I feel like that question's more for girls, because like do you like really get in there and like put the soap
I do not.
just all in there?
But it wouldn't burn if I did.
Because I'd be afraid of it burning, because it burns in the dick hole.
Oh. Even the tearless.
The what?
Tearless, like when you're washing your shampoo out and it runs down, it'll get. Does it ever burn when you're washing shampoo out?
No. Well, it has to get in your dick hole to burn.
Yeah.
Shampoo just on your dick doesn't hurt, but like when you, because sometimes as a guy, you know, you're in the shower like, man, I wish I could just, you know, jerk off in here, but then there's no lube around, and like dry isn't really that good. I've heard a lot of people say they only do it dry. I don't understand how you can do that. Like sometimes it's good, but I need something. And soap is like, at first, like, this is really good, you know, but then you get surprised. Because with that, you're kind of like getting close to the hole, and like it gets in there, and then after like 5 minutes, you're just like, oh my God! It doesn't end up being that bad. It goes away, but you gotta wait for it to go away. You're just like, oh, please.
like your mom like passes the door and she just hears you like crying.
It's not
Just
it's
whimpering.
not excruciating at all. It's just it hurts.
Uncomfortable.
Yeah, it hurts.
Yeah, how I clean it, I just like I get the soap around it, but I don't like
Yeah, I can imagine.
I don't get it in there. I
There's
saw
no really need to, because like what's gonna be in.
on TikTok there was like a trend last year where it was like girls would do face masks and then they would post videos of them peeling it off and they'd be like, oh, it's my monthly peel, trying to like trick the guys into thinking that like we shed like reptilians. And like surprisingly,
What guy is that dumb?
I think guys did believe it because it was becoming more popular. Girls were talking about like things that guys didn't know, and then it was like, oh well, now we're tricking them.
Didn't know that we didn't shed our fucking skin.
So like it was probably like 12-year-old boys, a lot of it.
Yeah.
Like, oh really, this happens? Like,
Yeah.
but a lot of the guys were trying to trick other guys, so they were like pretending that they were surprised by it. So I remember there was this one where girls were like, I hate when guys ask like, how do you clean it? Like, obviously I just put it in the washing machine. And then like you go through the comments and it's like, yeah girl, it's a twist off, like don't try to pull it. And like they were talking about how they just twist the whole thing off and throw it in the dishwasher or something. They're like, I use Delicate Cycle, it takes so much more time, but it's so much better. The results are worth it, girl.
Is it loud, like when, like, you know, like if you have like jeans in there and you got the metal, is it like gong gong gong, you know? Or
It's
is
actually like a soft tumble, like
but you do got to put the dryer sheet in there though.
afterwards. Yeah, like you let it sit in there, because if it's drying at the same time with it flakes apart. So you let it, like the dryer heats up, and then like maybe the last 15 minutes you put the dryer sheet in. That way it's not like tearing apart into shreds.
Sure. I put it on the clothesline.
Just let it sit out there.
Who fucking cares, honestly? It's called women power.
Exactly, girl. Don't be embarrassed to have.
Let it blow in the wind. It's good for your mental health.
It gets all the bacteria out. Like it just airs it out. And if you don't like clothesline, just like once a month, like it truly does wonders, girl.
Link in description.
Tutorial.
Yeah, how-to video on our OnlyFans. How to wash your vagina
Yes.
with a dryer.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I never really had that many questions about guys though, because everyone's like, oh, girls are so complicated, but I am a girl, but I don't think so.
Me either. Yeah, like mentally they're complicated, but not physically. Like the period is kind of, I get it. It's kind of self-explanatory.
Yeah.
You know, like I know it's the shedding of the uterus, whatever. There's not much else you gotta really know.
Yeah.
I mean, once a month affects different things. Like, what's the big deal?
Facts about period cramps you might not know. So you know it gives you cramps and it can make your stomach hurt.
Yeah.
Sometimes it gives you the shits though.
I believe it, yeah.
Yeah. Because it just upsets your entire stomach. So really flushes you out after the week. Really all cleaned up down there afterwards. And then like a lot of girls will say the second day's the worst. And on average, like the second and third day is the worst. But if it's if it's bad on the first day, it's horrible. It's like so bad, because I'll wake up in the middle of the night and be like, oh my god, my stomach hurts. I'm a little uncomfortable, and I'll be like, I'm on my period. I think so. So then I'll go look at the app and I'll be like, yep, I am. And then I'll go take like ibuprofen and I'll drink a shit ton of water.
So like Advil does help. Okay,
Yeah.
that's good. I thought it was like kind of immune to medicines. But
There is better medicine. Like there'll be like menstrual pain relief versus just regular Advil. But it really, really hurts if it's hurting a little bit. That's like just uncomfortable. But sometimes like.
And just to check, you insert the ibuprofen, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And it dissolves.
Actually, if you get the kids chewable.
Oh, it's like, oh yeah, the different flavors.
I like the cherry one.
I've heard great burns.
I steered away from it for that reason. My mom came up to me and like it was like the middle of the night or something, I think. It might have been like after dinner or something. I know it was like later on in the day. And like I came up from my room and I'm talking to her in the kitchen, and then like it's quiet for a while. Like we're just talking about normal stuff, and then it's quiet. She's like doing some kind of dishes, and she's like getting ready for bed and stuff. And she turns around, she turns off the sink, she turns around and she goes, "You know where the clitoris is, right?" Yes. I was like, I do. Why? And she just said, "I'm just making sure." And then she turned back around and finished the dishes, then went upstairs and didn't say another word. We were not talking about, we weren't even talking about, like, women in general. I have no idea where it came from. But I was like, what would she have said, like, if I didn't know? She would have pulled up a diagram, started, like...
Yeah, how do you describe
She would have explained it, been like, well, you know, there's like 3 holes, and then, like, one of the holes is right next to it. And like started describing the location of it. Now, let me show you a picture, actually. Like, that was so weird, because then I was like stunned. I was up there for another 5 minutes trying to figure out why.
I ain't been this high on Perkins in a long time. I ain't been this high on Perkins in a long time. I took 2 30s and a half of a third one. I feel like I can see everything with my third eye. Feel like I'm floating, see the world from a bird's eye view. These drugs remind me of a girl I knew. A little sweet, a little sour, and it vibes with the mood. Ain't no competition, baby, but I'm higher than you. Pray to God I never come down, down, down.